Now, the most common problem that people have when it comes to their sales interview is, number one, maybe they don't have any sales experience. Number two, maybe they're not very confident in themselves. And a lot of times people don't even know or value themselves. They don't know their full potential. So a lot of times they sell themselves short. But here's the thing, when you are in sales, the first thing you have to learn to sell is actually yourself. Because if you can't sell yourself in a job interview, nobody is going to hire you. And then you're just going to end up with the worst sales jobs out there. If you're looking for a sales job and you want to crush your sales interview, I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to say and what to do to make sure that you actually get the role. Now, the first topic we're going to cover is what to do when you don't have any sales experience, or if you have some sales experience, how do you highlight those experiences, right? Now, for the people that don't have any sales experience, here's the trick. What you want to do is you want to think about all the things that you've done in your career, in your life, whether it's from school, volunteering at a local club, doing charity, right? And think of different ways where you had to communicate with another person in order to persuade them to do something. It could be asking a donation for something, right? Or it can be asking permission to rent a place where someone could have a local event, right? No matter what it is, in some way, some form, you've done some kind of school presentation, you have to speak publicly, you have to convince someone to believe in you. And that's really all sales is. Sales is a game where you're just transferring your beliefs onto another person and getting that person to believe in whatever it is that you believe to get them to buy a product and service, right? Whether you have sales experience or not, all you have to do is understand the elements where you have to persuade another person, and those are going to be the things that you highlight. Now, if you have had sales experience, what you want to do is you just want to amplify those things, right? You want to let people know what are the challenges that you overcome, what are the objections that you face and how did you overcome them? How did you persuade the other person when they were a maybe they were a no, and you convince them to say yes. So highlight any experience that you have that is related to sales. Another trick that you can use during a sales interview is that you want to sell your potential, right? So a lot of these interviewers, they understand that, hey, maybe you don't have that much sales experience, maybe you had some experience, but it's not really that directly applicable. So how do you get around this? How I would recommend it is you want to sell your potential, right? Yeah, you can be honest and say, hey, this is the sales experience that I've had. I persuaded this guy to do this thing. I volunteered at my local club and I persuaded them to do this, but I understand that maybe I haven't sold the thing that you're selling and it's not exactly the same. However, I am someone that's willing to learn. I'm willing to learn on the job. I'm very coachable. Whether you want me to job shadow somebody, whether you want me to study books, audio tapes, watch trainings, anything you need me to do, I will do it in order to learn the skill of selling. And I'm going to not just learn it, I'm going to execute on it, and I'm not going to make any excuses, right? So when you have that kind of mentality, what you're really doing is you're selling your potential. The person doesn't really know for sure whether or not you're going to be good at sales, but if you're selling yourself in that way during a conversation or during the interview, you're essentially selling yourself, right? And you're basically capitalizing on the potential that you can have and the potential revenue you can generate for that company. If you don't have any sales experience that you can exemplify and amplify, what you want to do is sell your potential of what you could potentially do if they hire you for this job. Now, another tip that I have, and it is a very valuable strategy that most people are too lazy to do. What you want to do is you want to do extra research on the company, find problems that they have or potentially may have in sales, and then show that maybe you might be the solution to their problem. For example, I actually did this when I was interviewing at different startups back in Silicon Valley. And then basically I would look at the company and I would basically try to imagine they're hiring salespeople that need to send a lot of cold emails, and that's probably how they generate leads. That's probably how they close deals. What's one problem that I can guess that they have that I can solve? Probably they're not getting enough leads because they're not sending enough cold emails, and those emails aren't getting great conversion rates, right? So if I know this, I can say, hey, listen, as a software provider in this niche, I'm just curious, what are the greatest challenges you have around lead generation? Or how are you generating leads? And they're going to be like, oh, well, we're trying this, we're trying that, it's not really working. If you have that skill set, or how lead generation works with cold email, you can say something like, hey, I understand that you're trying to reach out to these people. Do you mind if I go ahead and share what I would do if I were to be hired on the job? Like, this is my 7-day plan, my 30-day plan, my 60-day plan, my 90-day plan in order to generate more leads and close deals for your business. And you're just sharing a strategy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be set in stone. Maybe they have a strategy that they already have in place that they want you to do if you get hired, but it shows that initiative, that shows that you actually walk the extra mile to try to solve their problem before you even get hired, right? So if you say like, hey, what I'm going to first do is I'm going to understand your product, understand the pain points. Number two, I'm going to go to understand who your ideal customer profile is. Number three is I'm going to find all these people on Google and all these different websites. Number four, I'm going to email all these people and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to call them on the phone and then close the deals, right? Again, it could be very adaptable. You don't have to, it's not set in stone, but if you have some kind of plan, you show that you put in the effort to think about what you would do. That's going to make you stand out so much more than everybody else, because everyone else, they're just going to to be like, oh, I'm just going to go on the job and I'm going to learn and you tell me what to do, right? No, what you want to do is you want to have a plan before they tell you what to do, because lead generation works all the same, right? Whether you work at Oracle, Salesforce, a Y Combinator backed startup, a consulting company, the entire fundamental of lead generation and sales is the same. It's all the same for every single company. So if you show the other person that you can do these things, it's very highly likely that they'll hire you, because that's so out of the norm for an average salesperson. And I've seen salespeople that come out of like really good schools like UCLA, USC, UC Berkeley, Stanford and stuff, and they don't even have a plan when they're going into this interview. They're just like, oh yeah, I went to these schools, so that's why you should hire me. And that's pretty much it, right? That does work for them, honestly. I've been in that situation. I went to USC and it does work, but if you're not in that situation, I do also know, being an employer at this point, right, and hiring different people, if someone came to me with a real plan of what they were going to do, I'm much more likely to hire them. Get into some advanced interview tips for the pros out here, right? A key strategy you want to employ is you're going to want to ask the interviewer many questions about the company. So normally a salesperson will be on the receiving end and they would be asked questions that they would have to answer. But how you show that you're intellectually smarter, how you're more capable, how you're more curious, is you ask the interviewer tough questions that even they might struggle to answer, or they would think like, this guy's pretty smart that he asked this type of question. So one example that I already gave before is asking the employer, how do you guys generate leads? Where do the majority of your leads come from? What type of customer is the most ideal customer fit for the product that you are selling? What kind of target demographic do you want to target if I were to work with you, right? These are questions people that actually care about the role would ask. The average salesperson would just ask like, oh, are there going to be any benefits? Do you pay for my gym or whatever, right? And that's like, okay, like perks are great, whatever. But the person who's asking these questions that actually, if you have the right answers and you do the right work, it actually will help the business generate more revenue. That is the key. If you are the person, their savior to solve that problem, I promise you, they will hire you. As long as you show that you are capable in actually solving that problem. That is actually selling, right? The whole game of selling, actually, when you take a step back, it's problem solving. It's looking for a problem and saying, hey, I can solve it with this product and service. Do you want to buy it, right? If you're an interviewee and you're basically saying, hey, what is your problem? You can't generate sales. Why? Okay, I can't do that. So that's why you should hire me for this amount. As long as you show the other person that you can solve their problem when it comes to sales, they will hire you, assuming that you are competent and confident in yourself, right? And the key is that you got to be confident in yourself, right? You can't just say the things. If you say exactly what I say, it doesn't mean you actually get the job. You actually have to have the tonality and confidence and swagger about you, so that when you say it with conviction, people actually believe you, right? And sales is all about transferring belief. If you don't believe in yourself, you cannot transfer that belief to another person, right? You cannot expect another person to believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself. So, I mean, it's a very like inner game kind of talk, but it's very true. If you believe in yourself, it just comes out in the way you speak, and then people feel much more confident in you. So here's a long-term advanced technique for the pros out there, okay? One of the best ways to, make sure that you always have a job and everybody will want to hire you is you have some kind of social presence. I've learned this very much because I became more active on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Patrick Dang. That's where I pretty much do like this NFT, crypto, Web3 kind of space, right? Not B2B sales, but like Web3 stuff. I do own my own business, so I'm not really like looking for a job or anything, but I can tell you that because I have a presence on social media, there are a lot of clients that want to work with me because they like the way I think, they like the way I speak, they like how I believe the world should be, and that's how I'm able to get clients and close deals much more easier, because I don't really have to like reach out to people and be like, hey, please work with me. I just do my thing, create content, and people come to me, right? As a business owner, that's obviously very valuable. So if you're like a coach or consultant, definitely you want to create content, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, whatever works best for you. I can have, whole different videos separate talking about how to do that. If you want that, let me know in the comments. For the people who are looking for a sales job, especially in the tech scene, a lot of people are active in Twitter and tech. You can give your perspective on where the tech market is going, give your opinion on certain things, right, in that industry, and people will follow you. And if you're someone who has a reputation in the space and you're known as a connector, someone that can sell product and services, you're going to be so much more valuable as a sales and business development person, right? Don't just think like you're just like a regular gear in a machine, just going to job. Build a brand. Even if you are an employee, still build a brand, because it can pay off so much and it can help you get into the right positions that you need to be in. I know it's advanced, I know it's content creation, it's not easy and it takes a long time to do, I get it, but I promise if you do it right and you actually make contributions into your industry, into your space, it's going to open up so much more opportunities compared to just sending random resumes through every single company, because people will come to you. And also, if you have a following, for example, I have a following on Twitter, when you reach out to people, most of the time they're going to respond because you have a following, right? That's just how the world works. I know like a lot of people don't like those kind of things. It does matter and it does work. And especially if you are a coach, consultant, or provide services like that, it helps a lot. Now, if you want to take your sales game to the next level, make sure to check out Sales Legacy at saleslegacy.com, which is going to have a free 1-hour training that'll teach you everything you need to know about sales. And also, it's part of my sales masterclass. So if you want to check that out, saleslegacy.com to learn more on how to elevate your sales skill set. And also, it'll give you more in-depth training on how to actually get a sales job. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I will see you in the next one.